Welcome to Hotze Elite Physicians Podcast, where you'll learn how to help your patients obtain and maintain health and wellness naturally, and how you can have more time, more money, and more freedom to enjoy your life. And now your host, Dr. Hotze.
Last year, I made a decision to write another book, but I decided I wouldn't write a 250-page book like my second book. I decided I'd make it a shorter book, and I wrote Do a 180, Join the Wellness Revolution. Hello, I'm Dr. Steve Hotze, and I believe that you need a successful doctor who can coach you on how you can design and develop a successful cash-based medical practice. Why? So you can have more time, more money, and more freedom to enjoy your life, and so that your patients can obtain and maintain health and wellness naturally. Now, last year, I decided I was going to write a book on men's health. I was going to focus on testosterone and heart health, and I wrote about 450 pages on that book. And it got to be long, and I thought to myself, who's going to read this? And I need to get something out. So I took a small section of that book out, and I incorporated it into a short book called Do a 180, Join the Wellness Revolution. And I just have 6 quick chapters in the book. I talk about how modern medicine is broken. I talk about the disease that doctors have called Labelitis. I talk about the mitochondria, the power plants in the cell. I talk about my own personal 180. I teach about why you need to learn to ask why. And then my final chapter is helping your guests do a 180 and taking charge of their health. Now, as I wrote this book on men's health, I was 250 pages into it, and then I got to heart health, and I wrote about 200 pages on heart health, and it got just to be much too long a tome, as I mentioned. So that's why I've decided in the future I'm going to take short segments of longer books and cut them into little segments so people have something they can read on an airplane flight, or maybe they can have at home beside their bed, and it's 20-minute, 30-minute reading. It gives them something short to read. It gives them a quick point of medical information and education that can help them on their journey of doing a 180 and taking charge of their health. Now, I dedicated this book to Jeff Yates. Jeff Yates is a longtime friend of mine who has had a problem with severe obesity. I'd seen him over the years. I've known Jeff for 30 years, and he's a pastor and also a political consultant. And he happens to help me in my public relations. But Jeff's weight, when I talked to him about a little over a year and a half ago, was 389 pounds. He had diabetes. He had severe high blood pressure. And I had talked to him several years before, encouraged him to come out. He's one of our other assistants. He dropped off. He didn't stay on the program. So now Jeff came in, and he was taking 100 milligrams of insulin every day. And then he was taking long-acting insulin. Plus he was taking 2 or 3 blood pressure medications, and he was taking metformin and some other diabetic medication. And his blood sugars were still crazy. His blood pressure was off the chart. It was 165 over 115 when I saw him. And I said, Jeff, you're killing yourself. He's 50 years old. At the time he was 49. I said, you're going to die young. There's no way in the world that you can continue at this weight and expect to have 5 years left to live. You've got to do a 180. He said, I'll come back in. And he did. And I said, as soon as we can, we're going to get you off all this insulin. If you know what insulin does, insulin takes sugar and stores it as fat. He had gained 100 pounds on insulin over the last 2 years. 100 pounds. And now he still had his diabetic problem, and he was having to take all this medication, which was making him sicker quicker, and he had blood pressure problems. I said, sir, what you've got to do is we got to get you on a ketogenic eating program. We got to do fasting, 2 days of fasting a week. I did a cardiac workup on him and found his heart scan here. Believe it or not, on our heart scan, CT scan, had no calcium in it. I couldn't believe it. sent him to a cardiologist, and he did a cardiac stress test, echocardiogram, and he also did a nuclear stress test, all of which were normal, believe it or not. I couldn't believe it at that kind of weight. So anyway, within 7 weeks, he was completely off his insulin, his diabetic medication, his blood pressure medication. His blood pressure was running 122 over 70, and his sugar levels were running 100 in the morning or less. And his A1Cs were within normal limits. So this is what we do and what we've done. I have numerous individuals that I could tell you similar stories about, but I tell you about Jeff because I dedicated this book to Jeff. Do a 180 and take charge of your health. Now, and join the wellness revolution. Now, Jeff, after he lost his first 80 pounds, was in a severe accident. He was struck from behind on a hit and run, and he damaged his neck, had to go to the hospital, had surgery, was laid up at bed rest for 2 to 3 months. Then he's out in the car again once he can drive again, and he gets hit again. Somebody slams into him going 45 miles an hour, and he breaks his lower back. So he's laid up, and they put him on prednisone, and it kind of messed him up. So, he gained back 30 or 40 pounds, and he just lay there, and he couldn't do anything. He was in terrible shape, so we had to get him back. So Jeff is back on track now, eating a ketogenic eating program and getting off. They put him back on some insulin, 20 units or something, so we're getting him off that. He's not on any blood pressure medication. But this is the kind of work we can do with patients, and this is what you want to do. Is you want to have a book like this that you can give to your guests and say, I need you to do a 180. You need to do a 180 and take charge of your health. So this book talks about really the pharmaceutical, medical, business, government, industrial or business complex that controls medicine. And what I want you to do as a physician is to get out from under their control. And the only way you can do that is by establishing a cash-based practice. Eliminating insurance or transitioning from insurance to a cash-based practice so you're not beholden to the insurance companies or to your hospital. You're not beholden to the government or any pharmaceutical companies. You can get people healthy and well naturally. And when you do, your patients are going to be delighted. They're going to refer other people to you and their family and their friends, and they're going to tell people how you got them healthy and well naturally, and they're going to pay you handsomely. They're going to compensate you handsomely for what you're doing for them, and you're going to have more time, more money, and more freedom to enjoy your life. So I can help you do this through Hotze Elite Physicians. What I have at Hotze Elite Physicians is an online platform that has video programs on my medical and business protocols that we've developed here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center over the last 29 years, since 1989. So that's been a long time. We've got a lot of good business protocols and medical protocols that you can incorporate, and I teach you how to do that in the lessons. That's what our online platform does. I want to encourage you to go visit Hotze Elite Physicians. And there, I'd like to encourage you to sign up to look at the webinar and also fill out an application form. If you're accepted, then you're going to have the opportunity to use my medical and business protocols, and you're going to train on those. You can train your staff so you can incorporate the successful systems and procedures we've developed here at the Hotze Health and Wellness Center. You can develop them there in your practice. Now, once you fill out an application for us, I'll have one of my consultants who will contact you if you're accepted to be a member of Hotze Elite Physicians and visit with you about what that would look like and what the cost for that would be. So let me encourage you again. Go to Hotze Elite Physicians. It's at HotzeElite.com, HotzeElite.com. Sign up for the webinar. Fill out an application, and let's get to work to helping you build a successful medical practice so you're going to have more time, more money, and more freedom to enjoy your life.
If you're ready to do a 180 and take charge of your practice and your life, make sure to visit HotzeElite.com for all the tools and resources you need to transition into a cash-based practice. More time, more money, and more freedom to enjoy your life is waiting for you at HotzeElite.com.
This podcast is solely for educational purposes and does not constitute